My name is Jennifer Walsh, and I'm on a mission to get more people outdoors, to understand and share the health benefits of spending time in nature, to fully comprehend the power that green spaces in nature have on our overall health, well-being, and mental state. We decided to film the entire season at the beautiful wellness community, Serenbe. Their mission is to live and work in harmony with nature, connecting people to nature and each other, so choosing to film in this beautiful place was a perfect fit in every way. The conversations on my walk are open and lively. We speak to a cross-section of industry leaders, people with varied backgrounds, yet all share how their connections and time spent in nature have shaped their life and their work. Join me on a walk with Walsh. This season made possible by Mother Dirt, good bacteria for great skin. Hi, I'm Jennifer Walsh, and welcome to this week's episode of A Walk with Walsh, where this week I'm with the lovely, talented, beautiful Kari Pei. How are you?
Hi, I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so happy you're here.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I know this is kind of like your backyard,
yes,
in a way.
This literally is my backyard.
So I'm thrilled that you could do the walk with us and to kind of talk to us about your background and why nature and what you do.
Oh my gosh. Well, what I do actually should be reflective of nature, I believe, because what I do is create products that go in interiors. And so if we don't take nature into account when we're sitting in a space, then we're denying ourselves what things help us be well in a space.
Okay, I'm just so happy you just said all that. We can finish right now. It makes so much sense and it's so important. And so many people aren't in line with that message yet.
You know, it's really kind of funny because remember back in, well maybe you don't, but remember back in like the 880s, we went through a real minimalist kind of phase, bare. And some people thought that they were removing nature out of like removing the decorative elements out of the space. But in ways, that was almost the most connected we were to nature.
Sure.
Because those spaces allowed us to really pay attention to light and shadow and texture.
Sure. Interesting.
And just allowed us to be quiet in those spaces. Well, you know, we go through these different genres and we become more decorative and you know, kind of industrial and cool and stuff when we're actually removing ourselves from nature in those ways. So what I think I like to do is try to get back to light and shadow and texture and quiet.
Yeah. How do you do that?
Well, you know, walks in the woods really inspire you.
They inspire you?
Yeah.
And how do you then add that or take that to work? And what do you do with those ideas and images?
Well, what I'm doing right now is I'm tufting carpets.
Okay.
And so when you're working with tufting machines, it's like glorified sewing machines.
Okay.
And so all you can really do with that vertical movement is bury yarns or raise yarns. You're kind of sculpting in a way. So if you think about it, when we're walking in this wood right now.
Yes. How beautiful is this, by the way?
Yeah, incredible.
It's glorious.
But what's going on at our feet, besides the sound of walking on the leaves?
Sure.
But even that has a texture to it.
Absolutely.
But, you know, you have these variegating surfaces. And try to capture that because this is really quite natural.
Yeah.
But without having to like draw leaves or draw sticks and stuff like that. But create textures that replicate the way that nature is kind of already imperfect.
There. Oh yeah.
And you know, it creates a sort of a connection between our brains and our feet.
Absolutely. I like that. Kind of like your body and your brain really need that kind of connection to feel whole.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes. And that goes back to something called epigenetic programming.
Yes. Can you tell us a little bit more, because I'm fascinated by this and I know you've done great studies in this, so tell us a little bit more.
So epigenetic programming describes how our brain is programmed to respond to our persons in space in an environment. And so the environment can influence us from the moment that we're born.
Wow.
And it becomes programmed in a way into our neural activity.
Are they just studying this now?
Yes, they're
Okay.
doing a great study at Mount Sinai Hospital
Okay.
that the National Institute of Health, I think, gave them $40 million grant to study the impact of the environment on the person and how far it goes back. I mean, even to probably prenatal.
Wow. No kidding.
Influence, the mother is influenced by the environment,
Sure,
and that affects the baby.
That makes so much sense. When you think about it, you're like, of course it would.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that, to me, is so incredibly important right now in terms of how we can design spaces for infants and for toddlers and for children and for primary school, secondary school, that can connect us to nature but can also make us more healthy.
Yeah.
Make us more focused, make us more productive, make us calmer, make us less anxiety.
That's so needed right now. And you'd think if more people knew and understood what you're saying, like right now, that they'd want that in every school, in every like government office, in every office building, and even like in my own home.
Yes.
I want to be as connected to nature indoors as I am outdoors.
Yes.
And if I know it's healthy and good for me, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And also because you talked about, before we even came on camera, about sound.
Yeah.
And even connection to like what you're creating indoors in your space and the amount of sound that we are affected by.
Yes. And so when we're in these spaces that have a lot of hard surfaces, glass, steel, cement, the things that make us feel like we're in really cool places, those spaces are actually challenging our brain every single second. Where 50% of our energy is spent with our brain trying to figure out what to listen to, trying to block out.
Okay, say that again. 50% of our brain.
50% of our energy.
Yeah, okay, energy.
Is spent with our brain trying to figure out what to block out, what to listen to.
And that's incredible when you actually can sit somewhere and just think about all the different sounds that are around us. And we're sitting in an office building, especially in New York City. How much noise there is.
Yeah.
It's constant trauma.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of time it takes for a person to be able to swing back into focus after being disrupted by, some clanging going on in the kitchen or the elevator doors opening and closing or the squeaking of a cart across the floor. If they're distracted by that, the amount of time it takes them to swing back to regain their focus really takes away from their productivity.
Wow.
And so if we think about how we can absorb sound more and measure the amount of ambient noise inside a space, because right now we don't measure the amount of ambient noise in a space. We only measure the amount of ambient noise that's blocked out from the street coming into the building.
Oh.
So many of our building standards, like the U.S. Green Building Council, and so for LEEDs and for the wellness, all these different standards that we have in measuring the health of a space.
Yes.
None of them measure the ambient noise inside a space.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
And so important again.
It's so important.
How can we not be studying that?
Yeah.
And taking care of that space that we need so desperately to be a place of peace.
A place where, you want to go home and be able to focus on your family.
Yes.
But if you're spent, day after day just exhausted going home because you're challenged by the ambient noise or you're challenged by the lack of proper lighting or if you're challenged by not having any kind of references to nature.
Yes.
You go home, it takes you so much time to just relax and decompress.
Sure.
And be present for your family.
Yeah.
And so if we take into considerations as we're building spaces, if we're creating office spaces, we're creating even spaces that you're not working in. Places like dormitories or libraries and places where you have references to nature. You have materials that are absorbing sound.
Sure.
And you have a place where you don't have to be constantly interrupted by traffic going through.
Yeah.
A lot of these big open office spaces
yes.
have that challenge.
Yes.
we design spaces with those things in mind, then we can go home and have healthier lives outside of work.
It's a great point, because I don't even think about that. But I do think, like, being, because I live in New York, and going out and going to dinners or doing events, and then I come home and I have to just stop and just try and calm down for a while, because my body's like on this vibration of, I'm doing so much, and then I try and come home and just relax. But again, there's so much sound outside my window, and I never thought about that.
Well, I too live in New York.
Yes.
I have the best of both worlds.
Yes, you do, living here and there, which I think I might have to try and follow up on that too.
I highly advise it.
How can you not want to be here all the time?
Oh, I know.
So what are you working on now, though, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, yes. Well, so I've discovered this book at Barnes & Noble.
Okay.
And it was just sitting there on one of their like new, fresh off the press tables. And it's called Ikigai.
Ikigai, okay, yes.
Ikigai is the secret to longevity and happiness.
Oh, wow.
It's a Japanese secret to longevity and happiness. Ikigai is a word that translates to mean purpose and finding your purpose. So this year we are finishing our development, which will launch next year.
And this is at Interface, correct?
At Interface.
Okay.
For the first carbon negative carpet
you're kidding.
collection. Yes.
Wow.
We are producing, my team has produced 5 carbon negative products, and then our outside consultant has produced a few more.
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's
We're very
exciting.
proud of it.
Very exciting. And I'm sure very hard to do.
Yes, because we really want to have the focus and create, more conversation about bringing carbon down. Carbon, we have an abundance of carbon in our atmosphere.
Yes.
We know that that is leading to global warming. And what can we do in our own way to make an impact so that other people follow?
Absolutely.
And that impact, it has such a huge ripple effect.
Oh, 100%.
We saw this when we first started looking at changing the way that we manufacture.
Okay.
So at Interface, we manufacture with carbon neutrality. We have 7 manufacturing plants around the world.
Wow.
Or 6.5.
Okay.
And they're all carbon neutral. And calibrating all those manufacturing plants to be carbon neutral is incredibly difficult.
I can't even imagine how long it took to start that conversation even.
Yes, and so we did it. Prior to that, we started with doing something very simple, and that was making all of our products have recycled content. And then some of them are entirely recycled. Okay.
So how do you do that? It's fascinating.
Okay, so what happens is that we have these fishermen, they are already out in the ocean.
Okay.
And a lot of their work is actually interrupted by discarded industrial fishing nets.
Oh, wow.
And so they collect tons of bales, every year. And they're purchased by our yarn producer at market prices.
Okay.
And then our yarn producer takes those bales and recycles it into yarn that we then purchase.
Oh my gosh.
This was exclusive to Interface at first, but we opened it up, and we, with our yarn provider, partnered with our yarn provider to open it up to all of our competitors taking advantage of the same
that's wonderful.
supply, so that now, we at Interface don't want to be so exclusive that we're the only ones doing these things that we feel are good for the planet. We really want to share.
That is a great ripple effect. Like you said, ripple effect. You're like, okay, I'm not just going to keep it all for ourselves. We want to make sure not only as being a champion for this or steward into this, but you want to be able to say, we have this offering, and then we'll give it to you as well so more people can experience it and use it.
Yeah, so now you see more and more products on the market in the commercial flooring industry that say that they're produced with Econyl yarns.
Econyl. How do you spell that?
Econyl.
Econyl. Okay. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. But the founder of Interface, his name's Ray Anderson.
Okay.
And 25 years ago, he set out to revolutionize manufacturing. So what is really kind of cool for me is I think that, you know, I love history.
Yes.
And for years and years and years, I used to travel around with this one book that was like 2-3 inches thick that I could never seem to finish.
And all your travels.
And I would take it on vacations. My husband was like, oh no, that again. And it was called The Birth of Modernism. Okay. It was a great book. But, you know, it talks about everything that's happening all around the world that enabled us to be where we are today.
Oh, fascinating.
From the turn of the century on. And it's really kind of interesting to note that, like, in the mid-1800s, what was happening in China was like the missing ingredient to enable something that was happening in France to come together to develop an industry in the United States, you know, like the steam engine.
Yes.
But or flight.
Yes.
And it's just all so interesting. Well, I feel like that's what's happening right now in manufacturing. Like, we're having another kind of industrial revolution.
Wow.
And revolution, meaning we are revolving and evolving to manufacture in ways that sort of reverse the bad way that we were manufacturing before.
Yes.
You know, now we have much higher standards and just the industry itself. And so I feel like it's a really exciting time to be in manufacturing so that we can say that we did things to make the world a better place.
That's a beautiful space to be in, too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of construction going on, isn't there?
Oh, yes.
Well, okay, we might be filming in a forest, but right on the other side of us is probably my house going up next to yours. So if you hear any sounds, it's a construction right over the ridge. So that's all the hammering that's going on, right?
Right. A lot of people want to come here.
Exactly. I think, like, what you do is so beautiful.
Yeah. The products?
All of the products. Well, just what you're doing in this space right now, and that you've chosen this career path to do what you do, and you live it so passionately. Because I mean, even when you were talking about before we even like got in front of the camera, you just kind of light up when you get to talk about what you do.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I'm extremely lucky. I'm extremely lucky because I'm one of those rare people that get to wake up every single day looking forward to the day.
That's great.
And I don't know how, you know, like, pinch me, I don't know how I got this life, but yeah.
It's pretty great. But here you are, like, around the space of nature. And when you see certain lights or certain objects in nature, do you then take that and say, you know, I want to integrate that? Or is it a light, or is it a color? Like, what kind of really gets you going to say, oh, I had an idea for something, a texture or a carpet or whatever it might be?
Yes. I mean, so going back to you know, you asked me about what I was doing now, and I told you about this book, Ikigai, and how that ties into having a purpose, and that ties into Interface's mission to reduce carbon in the atmosphere. That collection is about Japanese textiles, and how, you know, Japanese culture is inseparable from nature.
Exactly. Yes.
There's nature in everything that they do, you know, and you think about even how they have enameled dishes.
Yes.
And that enamel, the purpose of that enamel is how it feels in your hand.
Sure.
You know, and, you know, versus a ceramic bowl. Ceramic bowl is kind of heavy and cold. That enamel is soft and warm and light. So you feel the liquid in a soup bowl.
Yes.
You're in touch with the nature.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
That way. So the Ikigai collection is, yes, it's about carbon negative carpets, but aesthetically it's about touch. And there are these things that they do in Japan also, that they've made an art form out of things that are broken.
Okay. So
in ceramics, they have raku, you know, with the cracks, and it looks really beautiful. And then with wood, and like, say you take that ceramic bowl and you smash it, well, the Japanese will put it back together.
I've seen that, and then they kind of either glaze over it or paint over it.
Well, they put it back together and they solder it with gold.
So it looks like beautiful golden cracks, correct?
Yes.
Yes. I've heard about this and I've seen
that's
it.
That's called kintsugi.
Kintsugi,
So basically they're rendering something that's broken almost more beautiful than prior to being broken.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and then with textiles, textiles that are torn, they stitch them together with little gold threads, and that's called sashiko.
Sashiko, okay.
So a lot of the carpets right now, what we're doing is we're trying to capture the sashiko and the kintsugi into the aesthetics of the carpet.
Oh, it must be beautiful.
Oh, I hope so.
I can imagine like what you're
I mean, I know what it looks like
right now.
I like
yeah.
it, but I hope that people respond that way to it.
So when is that coming out?
Sometime in 2020.
Wow.
Not certain exactly when yet.
How long does that take you then to kind of come up with something like an idea and then really work with your team to say, how do we then implement this and really create something beautiful from it? Does it take like a year to create something?
Well, yeah. So we'll start like in March.
Okay.
And then we'll finish in August.
Wow. Okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
With the idea, and then presenting the idea, and then we'll fine tune the color line from like August until November.
Okay. Do you do a lot more work within homes or offices, or is it kind of both?
Right now, the majority of it is for commercial spaces.
Commercial spaces, yeah.
But then I also do a lot for living spaces.
Got it.
Like senior housing and
Oh, yeah.
multifamily and hotels.
Sure, sure, that makes sense.
Yes.
You travel overseas quite often. Do you find a lot of inspiration when you're on the road as well?
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, yes.
Sure you do.
Yes, yes.
And all the beautiful places that you go.
Yeah, again, I have this incredibly charmed life where I not only go places for work, but I also go places for pleasure or personal reasons.
Sure.
And so my husband, who is very international and grew up traveling the world, has that travel bug as well.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So together we've visited a lot of third world countries, a lot of communist countries, places that are sort of off the beaten track to the average American tourist. And like one time we were in a rainstorm in northern Africa, and we were in this bus, and we were going across this completely like uninhabited space.
Wow.
And you can see way, way, way across the horizon that there are these little specks of color.
Oh.
And those little specks of color in the rain, they were muted.
Yes.
And then the rain stopped and the sun came out, and then they just became really, really bright. And it was just fascinating to see. Those little specks of color were people's robes.
Oh, you're kidding.
They were wearing, they were outdoor in the rain, they were still working.
Oh my gosh.
And it was just fascinating. When the sun came out and the rain wasn't,
yes.
it was just, but it really, things like that stay with you.
Oh, of course. Obviously, yes.
And so what design means to me is an opportunity to connect with nature, but then also to create or elicit a memory.
Oh, that's it.
So I would love to capture that kind of haze and then brightness.
I can kind of visualize it myself. Just that description of what you just shared was, I can see it.
But, it, not literally, but just capture something that reminds me of it.
Absolutely.
And then maybe it'll remind something
to someone else.
Something else to someone else, yes. But still, that's one of the things that we want to do. I mean, that's design, that's art history.
Yes.
If you think about it, okay, I'm going to start
Go
jabbering
ahead.
like
Please,
crazy
no,
now.
please do. I love this. Are you
One of the
kidding?
things that I always do when I'm traveling is go to museums.
Okay.
So one of the greatest things about museums to me is that you go to these places and you can find artifacts from centuries ago, from civilizations that no longer exist. But it's like those humans, and usually there's not an artist attached to it, it's just anonymous. And those humans are like reaching up from the past and connecting with me. And that's how we connect as humans. It's like these dots through time,
through
connecting
art
us
and
all
beauty.
to each other through those kind of expressions, through crafting and creating.
I think that's it. It's creating. You know, like what you're doing, even as well. Like
Yes.
you're setting your place in history. Like I'm creating something that resonates with me.
Yes, I mean, I think about like some of these masks. I saw
Yes.
there was a great exhibit at the Met last year, and it was these masks that were sub-Sahara, and the mask replicated the scars that were on the person's face, and then, you know, in a tribe they were scarring
Sure.
as, you know, status.
Okay.
And you just think about the artisan that was creating that mask and the care that he took to just, you know, sand it to such a, like, it was made out of wood, but it almost looked like stone because it was sanded so fine.
Wow.
And the marks on that mask for the little scarring were so beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, you just think about that person putting that attention to that detail into that thing.
Yeah.
And I hope that I put as much attention into the details of the things I create.
Sure. Of course, I think what you do that's exactly it. Like, because you also see that and you recognize the painstaking process of creating something so beautiful that resonates through generations and centuries.
And maybe into the future somebody will say, hey, that's kind of pretty.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I love it, but I do.
But it resonates.
Yeah.
It ignites something within you to really just feel.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we want to do as humans. We want to feel something.
Yeah.
We want to be connected to.
Yeah. And
to
also
something.
kind of through technology, through materials, represent our place during our time on this earth.
Yes, absolutely. I know. Do you have a favorite museum?
You know, I've been to a lot of museums.
Yes.
And people say that the Hermitage is the greatest museum in the world. And the Hermitage is pretty
Beautiful,
great.
yes.
Pretty beautiful. But I have to say, right in my backyard up in New York,
Yes.
the
Met.
Metropolitan Museum of Art.
It's pretty spectacular.
I should say the MoMA.
Oh, I get it though.
But
I get it.
I know, you know, you have like these two levers.
But the Met is so wonderful just to explore, like on
Yeah.
that we get to do that because we are almost neighbors in New York.
Yes.
Like I was just there
Yeah.
last week on a Friday night on
Yeah.
the rooftop, even just watching the sunset.
Oh, yes.
And then be able to walk through the art afterwards and
Yes.
just say,
And don't you love that the museum was planted in a park?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's just
Perfect.
it is perfect because it's all about those textiles
Yeah.
and the textures and the feelings and the emotions you get from being in one of the most beautiful parks in the world
Yeah.
and in one of the most beautiful museums in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as far as like new museums go, you know, the Fondation Louis Vuitton in Paris is near a park also.
Oh.
That's pretty cool.
I'll have to go check
They
that
had
out.
yeah, they had a great Basquiat show last year.
Oh my goodness.
And you know, a lot of museums they put in more industrial places these days.
Sure. Yeah.
So I just wish that they would just think
Change
about
into a park.
placement.
Yeah. Okay, one more question for you too. So being in Serenbe, what do you love to do here?
Just be.
Yeah.
I have to say.
I get it.
It's just be. I mean, like, so I just had a birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
And I didn't tell anyone.
Oh, really?
No,
Well, thanks for sharing it with us then. So just your birthday.
So my husband was in China or something like that. I don't know. He's always gone. And my daughter was up in New York.
Okay.
And I had to be down here for work. But I didn't tell anybody it was my birthday
Okay.
because it was the most perfect birthday. I went to our local wine store
Okay.
and picked up
It's a great
couple
wine
of
shop, by the way.
two really
Yeah.
nice bottles. Walked in there and said, "Hey, I have a birthday I'm buying for." He thought I was talking about someone else,
Oh.
but I brought back these 2 bottles of wine. I opened up one, sat on my stoop with a glass, and just waited for neighbors to come by. The next thing you know, I had like 10 people on my porch
No kidding.
having a glass of wine with me. I brought out a bunch of munchies. We were just
That's
all
great.
convivial. And what is the verb? Conviviating?
Conviviating, maybe? I think maybe. I'll have to check on that. I don't know.
But that's what's so perfect about
That's
Serenbe.
Serenbe.
You
Yeah.
just open a glass of wine, sit out on your porch, and you have a party in 15 minutes.
That's great.
It's all about community. It
I know,
is.
it really is.
And so then at the end of the night,
Yeah.
when people were starting to leave, I said, "You guys, I just want to thank you for giving me the best birthday I've had in years."
And they didn't
it was
even
so
know.
fantastic.
Oh.
No, they're like, "Why didn't you tell us?"
Of course.
Because it wouldn't have been so perfect.
Yes. You just had the opportunity just to celebrate with
Just
everyone.
to be.
Just to be. Just
Yeah.
to be. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing all of this with us and with me, and to talk to you about your story and what resonates with you is really special for me, because my work is kind of share stories about people that are really making an impact in nature and how you use it and how you also protect it. And you're doing such a beautiful job for the world. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's my team is amazing that I work with. I'm so grateful for them. But I hope you become my neighbor.
Thank you, Kari.
In Serenbe.
I would love to. I would love to do both. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in this week to Walk with Walsh, and thank you, Kari, for your time and your beautiful work that you do in this world. So thank you. So till next time, we'll see you soon.
Bye.
This episode of A Walk with Walsh wouldn't be possible without our sponsor, Mother Dirt. Learn more about all their great products.
Clean. We create habits around this word from the moment we're born. We clean ourselves, our kids, our homes, our environment so that we can be healthy. Are we? Are clean and healthy starting to become two different things? What about the kind of clean that comes with healthy, with being human, with thriving? Maybe that clean is something different.
And I want to thank our season partners, the Inn at Serenbe and Igni Productions. Continue the conversation by subscribing to our YouTube channel and the companion podcast available at Apple Podcast. Thanks again for tuning in. See you next Wednesday for more walks.